Hi, I'm Dylan with BimmerTech, and today we're going to be installing our CarPlay MMI Prime for CIC head units on this 2011 X5 M. Good news! This retrofit system is now compatible with most vehicles from 2008 with CIC head units. Stick around. Here is a list of the tools you'll need for the job. Make sure you get our BimmerTech Pride tools to protect your interior. Now, before we get started on anything electronic, it's good practice to disconnect your battery before we get started. Lift your hatch, lower your tailgate, and remove the top panel exposing this cover. Remove the 5 screws or bolts holding the cover in place. Once the battery is exposed, use a 10mm socket to remove the negative battery terminal and tuck it out of the way. Now that we've disconnected the battery, let's get started on the interior. Using your pry tool, gently pop up the base of the center AC vent cluster. Once free, you will see 4 connections you'll have to remove. Simply pull up the 3 in the middle, then flip it around and get the one in the back. Put the unit aside and tuck the harness away. Remove the 2 Phillips head screws holding the HVAC fascia in place. Carefully pull down and pry up on the sides using your pry tool. You'll have 3 different connections to remove. Push the latch and pull. Push the latch and rotate the arm down. And pinch the sides and pull. Tuck the harness away and set the fascia aside. Cover your center console to avoid scratches when removing the head unit. Remove the 4 Phillips head screws that hold the unit into place. Pull it forward as far as it will go and start unplugging everything. Slide the catch out of the bottom and pull for the 3 on the bottom left. Pull for the 2 on the upper right. Pinch and rotate the arm for the main harness connection. Put the head unit off to the side. Next, we have to remove the A-pillar. Pop off the airbag label and remove the Torx 20 screw underneath. Using our pry tool and hands, work the A-pillar free from the car by pulling away. Once you hear and feel both pins disconnect, pull the pillar up and out. To free up the headliner, we need to remove the side view mirror. Pop up the cover and remove the Phillips screw. Once it drops, you can put the cover back in place to not lose the screw. On the right side, pop off the cover plate and remove the 3 Phillips head screws. The mirror will come loose. Next, we remove the dome console by prying the front and letting it hinge out from the rear. Remove the microphone harness by inserting a pick tool and gently lifting up and pulling back. Connect the BimmerTech harness into the dome console and existing harness. Tape the other end of the harness to a large cable tie or other type of fish tape, and feed the harness through the dome console hole to the outside of the headliner, pulling all the slack through. Replace the dome console, pivoting it from the back side and then snapping it into place in the front. Tuck the harness into the headliner and use cable ties to secure it down the existing harness down the A-pillar. You don't want to risk it interfering with the airbag. Next, remove the side panel with your pry tool and fish the harness through. Since this is where the MMI Prime unit will live, we need to remove the 3 Torx 20 screws holding the kick panel under the dash. Fish the microphone harness through the side panel into this area. And we're done with that for now. Close up the side panel and temporarily reinstall the kick plate so we can remove the side panel from the console. Remove the 1 Torx 20 screw at the front, then pull back on the panel. When you free up the center of the panel, pull towards the front of the car to slide the last 2 clips off. Now we need to remove the center console trim. Open the console for full access and then gently begin prying off the trim. Once free, pull the harness off the iDrive controller and set this aside. Pry the panel out inside the center console. We're going to cut a small hole in the bottom of it for the audio cable. We use the Dremel, but you could use a file.
Alright, now this part might be a little tricky, but I'm going to guide you through every step of the way, so let's get started.
To start putting everything back together, first we need to remove the green optical cable from the factory harness. Carefully use a pick to lift up on the tab and pull the connector out. To give some more slack, remove the fabric tape and pull back the braided loom. Secure it into place a few inches down with a cable tie. Take the BimmerTech plug-and-play harness and connect it to the factory harness. Take the optical cable you removed and insert it into the other end of the BimmerTech plug-and-play harness. Now it's time to start fishing the other end of the harness to the passenger side of the dashboard. Start with a connector labeled Power. In the far back right corner, there's a good gap where all of these cables can go through. Next are the LCD cables. Connect the LCD out cable to the factory one and feed it through the hole. These cables are thick enough, so you shouldn't need to fish it. Then feed your LCD in cable through, followed by the 1/8" TRS audio cable. Recover the center console and begin plugging everything back into the head unit. Depress the retaining clips when applicable. Slide the head unit back into place and screw it back in. Next, reconnect, reinstall, and screw back in the HVAC fascia. Finally, do the same with the AC vent center cluster. Yay! Now the center console. Fish the iDrive controller harness down and out the side of the center console. It may take a few tries to find a good path through. Leave these connectors here for now. Fish your cable tie through again and tape the audio plug to it. We're going to fish this twice, once to the iDrive controller hole and then again into the center console. We found that was easier than trying to do it in one straight path. Plug the cable into the audio jack and leave some slack in the line before snapping the panel back into place. Plug in the BimmerTech iDrive controller harness into the factory harness and the other end into the iDrive controller. For this model BMW, we're only using the smaller of the connectors. The bigger ones are not needed. Tuck everything away and reinstall the trim. Now onto the MMI Prime unit itself. Start plugging in all the cables that you fished through the dashboard. Everything is labeled. This includes the iDrive harness cable and the microphone cable we fished through earlier. Don't forget to plug in your USB AV harness as well as your Bluetooth Wi-Fi antenna. Tidy up your cables and stick your antenna down somewhere. We found a good spot on the kick panel. Clean the area first. The MMI Prime unit will live under the passenger side dashboard. For this 8.8-inch screen, we want dip switches 3 and 4 set to on. Slide the MMI Prime unit up under the dash. There is an open spot, but it may take some wiggling to get to it.
Before we tuck everything away, let's give it a quick test to make sure it all functions properly. And hey, if you like what you see, hit subscribe so you can find out how else BimmerTech can help you with your ride.
Fire up your engine, pair up your phone, and make sure everything is working. Don't worry, we have video tutorials on how to do all of this. This customer only wanted to use the USB cable for updates and didn't want to see it. So we're going to make use of this access panel in the kick panel. We're going to feed it through for now just so we can tuck it to an accessible spot later. Tuck all the cables away and screw in the kick panel. Here is how we left the USB cable at the customer's request. Tuck the rest of these cables away under the center console frame and reinstall the side panel. Make sure you're careful with these clips, they slide back. snap the rest into place and replace the last screw. So that's the install. If there's something you'd like to see us install next, let us know in the comments below. If you want to see how to use this system to its fullest potential, check out this video here. Thanks for watching.